So in this video today, the trade that we're covering is US30. All right, so US30, we ended up getting in a little late. That's the wrong one. Let me hop over to the US30 right here. So we ended up getting in a little late right here. And the reason why we got into the trade is because it just gave us the setup that we were looking for. So if you look down here on MT4, you can see we got the dot here. And then next we have the arrow. We have the break of the SUDI line, and we have the cross. So you know that's the 4 signals that we look for every time before we enter a trade. And this is the trade we took. So the other trade I was looking at was GJ. So GJ was here, but GJ already made a big move. So I wasn't able to get in on GJ for the simple fact that it already made that big move. So once it made that big move, there was pretty much nothing I could do about it. It was trading out of the session. So that would be the main reason why I didn't get in. If I would have got into the GJ trade, I would have had to get in last night during London session, but I missed the London session entry. So I just decided like, all right, forget that. We're gonna come over here to US30. We're gonna catch the US30 continuation because it's already giving us the setup that we're looking for. And we're just gonna ride that to the next resistance spot, which is up here. So I found that resistance spot over here on the 1 hour. So in the 1 hour, we basically just looking for the same thing, the break of the last opposite candle. So right here, we had a buying candle and a break there, and then we didn't have a full retest. So we took this as a retest back up here to this point up here. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to TP right around this area here. So as soon as US30 get up there within the next hour, we'll be looking to take profit right here at this area. We've been sitting in this trade for around 2 hours now, but we're basically making around $1,000 an hour at this point. So it's still fine. Now I'm going to actually go to the other screen. So it's around 1,000 an hour. It's around 1,000 an hour, as you can see. And like I said, I'm taking that TP right here to this level right here, where it's cutting off where we had broke the structure at. So where we had the last buying candle, which is here. Price typically likes to retest that area. So all I ended up doing was just taking a buy from this area down here and then coming right back up here to this area. And if I go back over there to the software, you can see where I ended up wanting to get into the trade at. So we got a little more buying volume coming in. So we're hoping that that volume just pushes right here to this level so that we can TP and then close out this trade. And that can ultimately save the day for what we had going on the charts, because we ended up taking a little loss earlier. And right now I'm doing a challenge 10K to 100K, and all we need to do is kind of just get back over the hump. So we end up taking one little L, but now we're going to make that money back, and then we're going to continue moving towards the 100K goal. But I said I wanted to be transparent. I want to show these trades, and I also wanted to trade on this account live and show everybody the trades that I'm taking so that they can also follow along and see what I got going on. So right here on a 1 hour, we had the same exact setup. So we had the up arrow here, and then we had already crossed to the buy side, so we were already favoring the buy. And then we had the break of the SUDI line on the 1 hour. So now all we wanted to see was price come up here and do the retest, which is here. And then from this retest here, I can honestly say I believe we're going to do a hard pullback back into this area, kind of come back down here once Trump give out this tariff news that we got going on, because he's supposed to be speaking about tariffs tomorrow. So I anticipate them doing the buy up here and then kind of making a pullback. Now, if we come over here to the weekly, we can also see over here on the weekly shows us that the market more than likely should actually come to this area here, because this right here will be the last breakout with no retest. So we will want to see the market push through this area here, push through up here, top there, and then if they want to sell, they'll probably sell sometime next week. Honestly, if I'm looking at it from the weekly, doing my top-down analysis. So coming back over here into the daily, as you can see on the daily, we're running into some rejection. So this is where all the resistance is. All the sellers are sitting right here in this order, in this area. However, we do have a new support block here. So with this support block here, I can just guarantee price is going to push through this level here, and then we're going to end up just continuing somewhere way up here. But right now, my goal is just to get back over the hump, get it back over 10K, and then we can start pushing the envelope forward to get back to making this bag. So if I come down here and I come back to this part here, right, you can see we're sitting at 17,177 as of right now. So we're looking to do around 3K on this trade here. I got the TP set around 3K. Yeah, 3,500. So we got that sitting around 3,500, but that's ultimately what we do whenever we jump on these charts. We come on here, we look for the same setup, and once we have all four signals, we got all four confirmations, we just take the market into that direction. Now, another thing is over here on trading view. So on trading view, we got the same setup here. As you can see, we got our dot at the bottom. We also have the up arrow, we have the cross, we're above the SUDI line, and we have buyers with control, and price is just constantly pushing up. Like I said, up here to this area is our target point, 42,564. So we're just waiting on price to just continue coming up here and then just hitting this area here. So that's what we want to see. This is the trade we're in, and I'm showing you live on both versions of the software what we look for. So software, all we basically do is we just look for support and resistance, supply and demand zones, and we just kind of go from zone to zone. So the easiest way to trade will be to trade the market from one zone to the next zone, and all you got to do is just figure out where you are, and then always get in on your time. How do I say it? Always get in on your session time. So if you're going to trade the London session, look for the setup around 4 a.m. in the morning. That way you can catch right when London comes in. You more than likely want to take that first signal on the 15-minute. If you're trading the New York session, of course, 9:30, 10 o'clock a.m. NYC, you want to be taking that Eastern Standard Time. You want to be taking that first signal that you see that aligns all four trades. And then all you have to do is kind of just keep waiting on those entries to yield these same results. So if we come back over here, you can see we're almost at the TP. We're at 2324 now, 2400, and we're just constantly moving up in the right direction. And like I said, I'm using this trade to put me back over the hump, put the account back over 10K, and then push the market, and then keep pushing everything forward. And then keep pushing everything forward so that we can get to the 100K goal that we got set. So this is the trade that we're in. This is the analysis. This is the breakdown. This is what we look for. Like I said, we just keep it simple. We don't trade. We don't keep it hard. We just keep it real simple whenever we jump on these charts. And as long as we follow the rules, we follow the structure, and then we just take the trade, we'll always stay on the right side of the market. So coming back here, we got a little bit of rejection there on the 3 hour, but I'm just kind of looking through the time frames now. But I normally just lock in on this 1 hour right here. So this is the trade I'm looking for right here, right before we hit that level. I want to get out right before. So we just waiting on that big push. It'll more likely come in the next probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Before 1:30 for sure. It's 1:07 right now. So before 1:30. So right here we got 10:07. That's Pacific Coast time. But at 10:37, which will be 1:37. So 1:37, I'm pretty sure we'll get up there to the TP. As you can see, it's already pushing. So that's what I wanted to see. The market pushing straight to the TP. And sometimes you gotta just roll with the punches. When the market is choppy, don't sit in your trades too long. So if I come over here, right, I can show you something. So if you have the new updated version of the software, it will typically always keep you on the right side of the market. You'll be able to see and view which side the market is actually trending on. So if we come back over here to the 10-minute, say if you're a 15-minute trader, right? Or let's go to 5-minute, because a lot of traders like to trade 5. All right, so say you're a 5-minute trader. If you're a 5-minute trader and I'm looking for a buy, I only want to enter the buy once the market enters this green zone, right? So if I'm down here and I got my up arrow, I got my cross, the SUDI line is this white line. If the price is not over it, I don't want to enter the buy. I want to wait. Because if it's under it, it will just stay under it until it closes above. So once it closes above and we get back into the green zone, that's the buying zone, then I want to buy. And then I can just watch it. And I can hold my trade as long as it doesn't break my green zone. So right here, once it broke the green zone, then you can get out. That's one of your exits. If you're just looking at the 5-minute time frame and you don't know how to find structure, you could have got out there. But me personally, what I do is I tend to find my structure on my higher time frames, such as my 1 hour. So on my 1 hour is where I cherry pick my TP from. So I wanted to see price hit right before it hit this level here, right? Because this was the opposite candle, so that's the breakout. So the order block is kind of like in that area. So I wanted to see price come right here, and then I wanted to get out right before we got up and hit this area. So that's the trade that I'm looking for. And like I said, I got in down here, and then once we hit this area, I am anticipating a hard rejection, but that's how I would pick my area. So even if I'm on my 1 hour, you can see on the 1 hour it's the same exact thing. I would not want to enter the buy down here in this area. I would just wait till we close back above here or even here to be even more safe. And then I would enter that buy, and I would hold that buy and take it up to whatever my target point was, which was there, right? So that's one thing that you can do whenever you jump on a chart. You got to just use that flow tracker as your evidence piece to keeping you on the right side of the trade. So if we look at anywhere the market has trended, so we always have to go to the beginning of the trend to the end of the trend, you can see exactly what I'm explaining. So if you're looking down here and you see that we're looking for a buy, this is the reversal. If we enter the buy here, right? If we enter the buy here, we're green as long as it's in the green, and then we will exit the buy there, right? So if I was just to take a trade and I was to put a long position here, right? Say we enter here, and then the stop was below, say, the previous two candles, right? And then I drag this over here, and then we push that up there where it re-entered. Right there will be 387 points, right? So just imagine doing about $1, you made $387. If you did about 10, that'll be $3,870. If you did about 100, that'd be 30,000, right? So that's just how it goes. So whenever you're looking to take your trades on US30 or NAS or any other pair, just make sure that you're in the right zone or price has entered back into that zone before placing that trade. Because anytime you enter it here, you're just putting yourself at a gamble, all right? So what I mean by that is, if I enter the buy here, I have the arrow, I have the buy here. Well, I don't have to cross or anything, so this would be a bad example because we would avoid taking this trade without the cross. So, but if we have the cross here, so we take the buy here, right? All right, yes, we would get stopped out here, or we would put the stop below this low here, the second candle, right? So if I put my stop below the second candle, say if I longed here, I put my stop below the second candle here, you would still be in this trade, as you can see. Price would still be going if I even continue this over some more. And let's say I took it to the TP level there that I wanted, right there, I would still be in this trade. Price would not have stopped me out. However, if price does close in this area, it more than likely would be good to get out and then just re-enter once price get back onto trend. Because what this SUDI flow, SUDI line with the flow tracker on it, what it will do is it will track whether you're in the buying zone or if you're in the selling zone. And every time you enter your trade, you want to be in the right zone. We don't want to enter trades in the opposite zone. That's why a lot of traders lose money, because they're just not entering in the right zone. So our goal is to get on the charts and enter our trade only once the market closes in the right zone. So if I go back, like I said, I don't have to cherry pick. I can just go back to any point, and then we can stop at any point, and then we can just look at where a trend starts. So for instance, right here, the trend is down, right? So the trend is down here. Let's go here to the setup. So we have the arrow, we have the cross right here to the down, and then price closes in the zone. You can enter the sell there, boom, push down, it re-enters here, you can exit. However, we still have the setup. You can re-enter the sell here, and then it pushes down, and then it exits here. You can exit there, right? So that's the way that it works. And then as you can see right here, it's starting to flatten out. And once it flattens out, you can kind of tell it's going to be choppy because the market is starting to move sideways. This will track your zones and your height and your width of what you need to be aware of. So that's when it gets choppy, but that's how you would want to view it whenever you want to take these trades, right? And then not every trade is going to be a guaranteed easy setup or a win like that. So coming back over here, so this is what we'll want to see. So that's why I said what I said. So you'll want to just be able to take those trades, and then you want to watch this SUDI line as your confirmation factor, letting you know that you're getting into the market on the right side. Like, we want to avoid buying when we're down here in the zone. Yes, you will lose out on a couple ticks, but I'd rather you lose out on a couple ticks and getting into the market up here in this area than for you to take the trade down here and then this happens. So like, you're buying here and then it just keeps doing this and then slamming down and doing this, but all it's doing is fighting inside of the sell zone, right? So as long as price is fighting in the sell zone, we don't really care too much about it. So we want to avoid going through that fight and just only entering once we're on the right side. But if we're looking for the sell, that's fine, because then we can just continue to sell while we're in that zone, or we continue to buy. But if you're going to do that, I would recommend you always follow your higher time frame. So if the daily like this is telling me buy, then I'm not looking for any sales. I'm only looking for buys if the daily trend is up. If the daily trend is up, I'm looking for a buy. If the buy doesn't play out, then it wasn't meant for me to win that trade. Like on a day like this, it's probably would have looked for a buy on this day and probably got stopped out. Probably would have looked for a buy on this day. No, I wouldn't have been in the market that day. That's a Friday. So, but those are the things that you want to look out for, right? So you want to avoid Fridays. You want to avoid Mondays. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you want to just follow whatever your daily trend is telling you, right? So if you do that, I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you'll stay on the right side of the market. And as you can see, even if I come over to my 8-hour, price is just pushing up to this rejection zone, which is right here. So we're kind of going from, once again, one zone to the next zone. So that's how you got to look at the market whenever you hop on these charts. And let's see, let's go over here. And we're almost there. So we're almost back. We almost saved the day so far. So that's good right there. And now we're just kind of waiting on these last couple of ticks to play out. The market to hit up here in this area. Like I said, after it hit this area, I'm expecting the market to do a significant pullback once we hit this retest level. So I'll be getting out right before we hit that level. And then right here, you can see we kind of dropped down to 6K, 6,900, but we'll be right back above 10 the moment we TP there. So that's what I would advise you guys to do. That's how you look at it. That's how you run your plays. And that's ultimately how you stay on the right side of the market whenever you're trading, using the software, using the system. That's the way you're going to play it.